Hello everyone and welcome to Nothing and Like It, thankfully the only podcast I did it again. Same as last month. Chronicling the FWA via its appearances on television. I am the invisible hand of this podcast, Kieran Lafort, and joining me, the floating head, Eddie Sideburns.
Yes, hello. I'm the floating head, the floating Scottish head. Does
that make you the head?
Yeah, make you the head. Aye. And then you do a Drew McDonald impression, and it just all sounds, like flashes before your eyes. I'm here. I'm the floating head. Is that really what we're going for? Okay, I guess I'll take it.
Well, wait till you hear his. And, of course, the foot-long penis, Andy Ogden. Andy, how are you?
I've been called some things in my life, but a foot-long dick, I'll take it.
In brackets, complimentary.
Compliment.
He's the floating head behind the WrestleMania shocked guy who was sad that the Undertaker's streak ended.
It's a combination of the pair of us, the invisible head, because that fella was in the way.
Oh, he's a big fucking head, isn't it?
So it is business as usual. 2 episodes of 2004 FWA TV on the Wrestling Channel. We're going to start with episode 21, August 26, 2004, with all the matches and promos on this taped, amazingly, all on the same day, June the 18th. That doesn't happen very often throughout this series. We open on Earlier Tonight, and here comes Alex Shane entering to his evil music.
Well, it's filmed in glorious square vision, this one, isn't it?
So, yeah, it was to separate the Earlier Tonight stuff from the live action now stuff, because even though this show is taped, it is sort of presented as being live in some aspects, which is just the way like wrestling television had been.
I just love the idea of the past is in a tiny square box,
yes,
and the present is full. Tiny box, full.
It is a bit like that, yes. Yeah, I also found it really noticeable on these episodes. So here comes Tiny Alex Shane in a box. His entourage are Styx, Leroy Kincaid, Martin Stone, and PJ Black.
I was about to say I was giving myself full marks because I put down in my comments this is the first time I can name every single member of his entourage at this point.
Yeah, not that one guy we haven't been able to identify for the full run of this show.
No, but this is also quite interesting because it comes back to the fact that PJ has had a match. No, although that was anything that wasn't on telly, wasn't it?
Yeah. And hasn't happened yet. So this was tapes before that.
Right, okay.
He's just a guy from the academy. Yeah. We kind of fucked with time flow a bit. So that match has happened when this airs, but hadn't when it was taped.
Right, okay. Timey-wimey, fuck it.
Yeah. So the show stealer is here and he is pissed off. He lays out that it was supposed to be himself and Hayde Vanson versus Jack Xavier and Steve Corino, but that match is not going to happen. He is momentarily distracted mid-sentence by someone in the crowd and flips them off. He claims he made sure that Jack Xavier wasn't going to be here, so he and Hayde would get Corino in a handicap match and make some very off-colour handicap jokes. He didn't make sure that Jack Xavier wasn't here, and we will get into that later on. He says he got a call about 1 p.m. from Elazar to tell him that Corino's flight had been cancelled and the earliest he could arrive would be 6 a.m. tomorrow. And he says as much as the FWA has dragged on long in the past, not even I could make a show go that long.
The wording that Elazar used, the wording that Ellie says in the promo, he says his flight had been terminated. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a bit fucking harsh, isn't it?
It does sound like it was shot down over the Atlantic, doesn't it?
We have, I can just imagine Alex Shane on a table saying we have compromised fully to a permanent end Steve Corino's flight.
If Corino was scheduled to get on a flight from, let's say, Philadelphia, which I think is where he lived at the time, at 1 p.m, he is not getting to Heathrow until 8 p.m. anyway, and is unlikely to be in Brent before 9:30 on a day where he zips through customs and there is no traffic. So I'm dubious about this story. Anyway, Alex says he got told by his business partners that there would be no tag match tonight and he's not going to get to wrestle. Big pop for this. He says he will get to wrestle because he's the managing director of the FWA, and then blows his catchphrase by saying there's nothing you idiots can do about it. He says he's looking for opponents and asks if there's anyone in the crowd who fancies their chances with Alex Shane. And it's the usual round of macho dummies going, yeah, I'll fight you. But my favourite is the bald guy who comes up to the railing, half-heartedly goes, "Oi, wank stain," and then sadly ambles back to his seat when he gets no reaction. It's a perfect shot of a complete loser. Sorry if you're a listener. I'm sure your life has improved since 2004. He calls the crowd sad, loser, internet geek bitches and throws out the challenge again, saying that this show is all about seizing the day, it's carpe diem, and he's going to give someone the opportunity to do just that, eventually setting his eyes on Ross Jordan, who is working security. So he calls Jordan into the ring, and he does the gag of asking the question before pulling the mic away for the answer, but establishes that he trained Ross Jordan. He's beaten him on FWA TV before, and that Jordan was Hade's opponent in Hade's FWA debut. He says, Jordan has until the big hand touches the little hand, and then something apparently too bad for TV gets cut out. I have no memory of what this was, but it can't have been good if it didn't air, given the rest of the stuff that airs. He says he's got until that happens to find a tag partner, and Jordan scurries off, and Alex closes out the promo in his usual fashion. So our main event has been set up. Opening titles, interrupted by the virtual Bong.
I fucking hated this.
Really?
I was dancing to the FWA music and then it got interrupted by a silly Bong.
I was like, it's virtual bongo time.
Oh.
You've really gone off the monster moment, haven't you?
Oh, it's sort of like, I couldn't give a shit what happened 6 months ago. Just get in the ring and wrestle, mate. Well, thankfully, he's in the first match.
This is a bit to fill up time. Again, I will bring up that these episodes had to be 45 minutes on the dot.
Oh, did you have a spare 15 seconds? Like, oh, we can fit a Bong in.
Yeah. So it is the virtual monster moment. It says on the screen, go on.
I'm just imagining, like, you know how we talk about when you go into a room and then you go, oh, you could fit a ring in here. And I can just imagine someone looking at editing suite going, we could fit a Bong in there, and like every single like.
I've known many an editor who does have a Bong in their edit suite.
Just like any episode of wrestling, just if it's like, how do we make it? How do we want something quick and snappy? We could fit a Bong in there and just an explosion. And then it goes black and white, and then we just show something that happened a while ago that has no context on the current format. But let's just do it. Well, this one did, though, because it had the Duke of Danger and stuff like that.
It did indeed. So it says Burchill interrupts the Duke to debut the C4, but what this really is a quick re-edit of the public workout / peasant thrashing from 2003. If you've only just joined us, peasant number 2 has just died, remains the best thing Andy Coyne has ever said into a commentary microphone. So Burchill kills the Academy boys. We get a quick cut in that was missing from the original edit where the camera is up in Simmons' face and he says, I don't want to wrestle him, Duke. And then Rishi goes, takes the C4 and the roof comes off Broxbourne Civic Hall. And we are promised Burchill versus Simmons, 1-on-1 next. And before either of you ask, I have no idea what was going on with the S in verses that was massively bold compared to every other letter. I presume Adobe Premiere was being a dick and I needed to cover something up.
You went on Gotham Ultra more than Gotham Medium, I guess.
Yes. So finally, after 7.5 minutes, we join John in the Shadow Realm. We get the rare double Atkins as he appears in the inset screen doing the intros for the match while doing his show rundown. And I think he's dressed in the same suit as well.
That just screams the Spider-Man meme of two Spider-Men pointing to each other, but it's John Atkins and then John Atkins again.
More Atkins is always a good thing. So he reiterates that Jordan has the remainder of the show to find a partner for the main event and throws back to Tony and Nick in Brent Town Hall for the match to clear up the controversies surrounding the number 1 contendership to the tag team title, Simmons versus Burchill 1-on-1. So the commentators recap the story during Simmons' entrance. Burchill came to Simmons' aid during a match against George Castano and Stevie Knight, which aired almost 3 months ago at this point. This is slow burn booking. He replaced the injured Duke of Danger, who we discovered later on had been attacked backstage by the family. That match was scheduled to decide the number one contender to the tag title, and by winning, that's what the Monster and the Butler now are, but they don't want to be partners. So we have this singles match, and if Simmons wins, he and Duke will get the tag title shot. If Burchill wins, he apparently will challenge by himself. Simmons' entrance sees him shaking hands with the entire front row, and it takes forever. His music runs out, and he loudly asks, "Where's my music gone?"
I know. And he's adhering everyone to the code of honor, which is great. He
Yes.
just and then there's some people he's just like, no. But other ones he's like, yes. And I know what Andy's going to say, and I've put it down as well in my comments. So fire away, Mr. Ogden.
Yeah, so I've got 3 things here. Oh, look, it's Gadge.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, it's Ben and Martin Kirby bowing down to the game, Simmons. And also, someone who looks like Eddie the Eagle Edwards in the front row.
I wonder who that was. I did notice, through the power of upscaling, I can't see my brother, but I can see my stepdad in the crowd in the wide shot of some of this.
Right.
Yeah. I was really, and my brother must have been there because there is no way Ian would have come to the wrestling by himself. So Joe must have been there as well. Yeah, it was really funny. So Burchill's music hits and Simmons hides behind Linsky in the corner, and he tries to plead with Dean Ayers as he gets in the ring, saying, "I thought we were friends." Dean does the disclaimer, and when he says, "Simmons, you are entering this ring at your own risk," Simmons jumps out of the ring. The crowd are hot for this as they lock up, and Simmons gets flung across the ring. The second time, he legitimately goes corner to corner. It looks brilliant.
I've got to say as well about Guildford Paul, with the beads straight from a Top Man accessories section in it.
He's been shopping. His look would change on every show. It was becoming more and more of a superstar look every time. Because don't forget, originally when we first saw him at British Uprising, he was just in like black biker trunks, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's been watching again. I think I mentioned this before. He's been very much watching his Samoa Joe tapes because obviously Samoa Joe had the beads and stuff like that, and he's very. And I think once didn't he have the spiked hair with the frosted tips or something like that? So,
the hair's getting longer and floppier now.
Yeah, but he does. I can clearly see he's kind of been. Someone's told him to kind of make sure he has the superstar look, and he's kind of been going out there, which I like.
Yeah, you can imagine him on a night out, right, in Chicago Rock with his check shirt, his bootcut jeans, his brown shoes, and he'd also have one of them sweatbands as well, what were popular at the time on his
like the thin leather ones that go round and round and round halfway up your arm. Yeah, one of those.
I had one of them.
So Dean commands Burchill to attack, but Simmons dodges a corner charge and rolls him up for a 2 count. He gets another one by countering Burchill's reversal of his double arm suplex into a sunset flip, but Burchill then takes his head off with this grounded sweeping kick on the mat. Snap suplex, Burchill boot chokes Simmons in the corner as Ayers yells in the Butler's face, "Do you really want it that badly?" Simmons, throughout this whole match, pulls some tremendous faces as he's getting battered all over the place. Like, I really like his selling in this. There are a couple of occasions on commentary that I must have forgot to edit out, where the original stip was if Simmons won, Simmons would choose between Duke and Burchill as his partner, but if Burchill won, he could choose to have Simmons as his partner for the championship match or take the shot on his own. Someone in the interim apparently figured out that didn't make sense, but a couple of the comments slipped through the cracks. Because you hear the commentators say, you know, why would Burchill be here beating up his own partner? Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. So we come out the ad break, and Simmons catches a ray of hope by catching Burchill in the corner, but his attempt to whip him across the ring just results in a reversal and him screaming his way into a Bret Hart turnbuckle bump. Burchill goes to the top rope. Simmons staggers to his feet and falls into the ropes, causing the monster to tumble out to the floor. And then Simmons struggles up to the top floor himself and flops off onto Burchill. He manages to slam him into the railings and fire off a chop before throwing him back in, hitting a double axe handle off the top rope and a swinging neck breaker. More great facial expressions as Simmons tries a suplex, but Burchill reverses it and fucking crushes him with 2 jackhammers. The first one I had to rewind and play back in slow motion because Simmons' head misses the mat by millimeters. Paul follows up with the old Wade Barrett wasteland, a standing shooting star press, and the move with no name. And then Linsky starts the knockout count, and AS tells Burchill it's time to go. They reach the stage as Linsky gets to 9, and Simmons drags himself up on the ropes. He is the first man to survive the 10 count. Crowd explodes, and talking of great facial expressions, we get a close-up of Dean, and he cannot believe this. He's in complete disbelief. And then we cut wide to see Drew McDonald emerge from the curtain, wielding a chair.
Och Aye The Noo.
Mr. Sideburns, your retort?
I didn't know we were from an Willy kind of comic in that, right? But all right, I guess. Yes. I mean, I'd expect that from Kieran, near for you, but you know,
I do it with respect, and I only do it when I'm doing Drew McDonald impressions.
I know
that was just out of nowhere.
That was just. I'm just shocked by that. Like, what?
Do we need to report him to HR? Do I need to file a report?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I've just been kind of, been sideswiped by an Andy Ogden impression of a Scottish person. I'm going to think about this.
Should we carry on with this while you decide? I'll talk, and you decide what you want to do about this later on. We can talk about it off air if you like.
Yeah.
So here's Drew, and he's got a chair, and he whacks Burchill in the back and whacks him in the knee and throws him off the stage. Linsky now starts the count. He hasn't seen any of this. He was checking Simmons was okay in a corner. Unable to stand, Burchill struggles across the floor with AS trying to help him up. The count is already at 9 before he can even make it onto the ramp, and his leg immediately gives way when he stands up. State of this ramp, by the way. The paint has faded. There's gaps between every panel. It looks awful. I'm surprised nobody fell through it. It looks terrible.
Kieran, do you feel at this point, though, the use of, because with FWA it's a 20 count.
Yes.
It sort of like ruins it a bit?
It did hurt it a bit, yes, because the crowd, when Linsky counts to 10, half of them cheer because they don't know. Yeah. So, Burchill is stumbling and staggering. Dean is doing what he can to help his frantic monster, but it's all in vain. Linsky counts to 20 the second before Burchill reaches the apron, and Simmons has won. He's the first man in the FWA to beat Burchill. Crowd goes crazy again. Simmons looks more surprised than anybody to have won, and a lady with green hair and a lot of facial piercings tells the camera that Simmons is a legend.
Yeah, there was. I liked because the hits that Drew made, because obviously it was to the back and then to the knee, and then pushes him off, and the selling by the Pirate Burchill, sorry, the artist formerly known as the Pirate Burchill, does quite well actually. He's the selling's great, especially how kind of like makes it feel like, oh, he's got to quickly get to this ring, and he's like on his knee, keeps falling back up again. I like that. That was quite good.
So to round out the match, Dean protests the result with Linsky. Simmons shakes hands with the front row again, and some bell end in a straw hat gives him a banana for some reason, and we fade to black. So what do you reckon? It's
a good angle, I would say, but makes Burchill look like an absolute clown.
Really?
This monster.
You don't think he's selling that Drew does hit him really hard? He's selling the power of an old man with a bum bag.
Not really, to be honest. I think, he could have probably got in out of the 11 counts. It's just like stalling till 19. It's like, oh, and then fall on the deck. Didn't like that. Simmons took a beating, didn't he? Obviously, the sternum first into the buckles got a pop from me. 2 stars for me, this one.
Okay.
I think in like a TW game, it would be like the crowd were hot for this, and the wrestling was okay. I don't think it was anything massively special. Again, Burchill does his usual stuff. I would go 3, as far as I'm concerned. I think because of how Drew attacked him, because he goes for the back, then goes to the knee, and then throws him into the crowd, it makes sense why it might take him a while. I do get Andy's point though. It's quite good that the rule that's how he loses, because obviously normally his ones have always been guy lays on the mat, count to 10, he walks out. And then the reversals happened because now the guy's actually stood up. He's technically out of the ring. He's getting counted out. It still makes Burchill look in essence strong because he's not been pinned as far as we can see. So it's kind of, and it's also interference that's happened. So I think it was I'm going for a 3. That's my fault on it. I thought it wasn't that bad. The crowd were definitely there for it, and the crowd definitely helped. And I think the story was fine. I think it got what needed to happen because obviously the family had been trying to recruit Simmons. So it then kind of goes into that as well. Them trying to keep hold of the tag belts. So I think it all made sense. So I'm going a 3.
But you sort of feel coming out of this, Simmons is probably the only star out of the lot. Like, the crowd want to get behind more than Burchill.
Do we think that's because of how? Because obviously, I don't think we saw the 6-man tag where Simmons where the whole Simmons thing started.
That's never seen the light of day. That is somewhere within the Frontier Wrestling Alliance vaults with cobwebs growing on it.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of a Daniel Bryan-esque kind of like fan movement kind of pushed more than anything. So then they've just kind of had to go with it because you have guys like Ben cheating it in the crowd and getting over along with probably Gadge and stuff like that. So I can see him being a star in essence, yes, and probably because he's kind of grown with that. Burchill still in essence, I feel, is still a star, but we just don't see him as much now from what they've shown us on this. So
yeah,
I kind of see your point though.
Yeah, he's Burchill trying to be Nelson Muntz to Simmons is Martin Prince.
We always get a Simpsons reference. We always do.
The more I watch this, the more I like it.
Mm-hmm.
On the day, this match was produced within an inch of its life, and it worked. I think they pushed the limits of how these two characters can interact with each other one-on-one, and I think it's notable that this is the only time they do. The story is told through the wrestling. Every time Simmons is knocked down by one of Burchill's big moves, particularly in that long run-up to the move with no name at the end, his instinct is to try and get up and keep fighting. Every time he gets the upper hand, it's through an unconventional way that no regular wrestler has tried against Burchill. And they do a little tease of that early on, where he ducks a clothesline and Burchill runs into the ropes and wraps himself around them. But Simmons is so surprised that he's still alive that he acknowledges the crowd instead of going on the attack. Nothing in this match is out of character. We were shown before at Uprising 2 that Simmons could withstand the Burchill onslaught, as he was on his knees at the end of the 10 count and it was Duke that was down that took the full 10. So it's established that he's tougher than your average, but still a terrified buffoon in over his head. Burchill, on the other hand, is still the animal. Like, he's wrecking what's in front of him, but this one is different. Like, this prey in front of him moves differently and thinks differently to all of the others, and he's not quite sure what to do with it. And the analogy I came up with, he's like a cat that's used to catching mice coming across his first ever spider and has no idea what this creature is and how to deal with it. And, as Eddie said, this all plays into the story of the family trying to recruit Simmons. My head says it's 2.5 stars. My heart says it's 4, so I'm going 4. I love it from start to finish.
One of the things as well.
Yes, I'm very... It has been a tough week, actually, now I think about it.
One of the things as well that could maybe add a little bit more to it is obviously Burchill has teamed with Simmons in the past we've seen, and they've done the whole kind of like, and I think even Dean did a whole thing where he said Mr. Burchill and Mr. Simmons are not responsible.
Yeah, it was only for that one match with Castano and
yeah, and it's
Duda.
not like, and Burchill's not doing the whole like, drama school, I'm attacking my friend, look at my hands, why am I so violent kind of stuff.
Burchill doesn't have friends.
Exactly.
That was a business opportunity. I think Dean even did a promo about it. Said it was a business opportunity.
So I like that. It must have been forgetting that, but so good.
Even if Andy is questioning my mental state. So we get the AJ Styles promo that played last week, but September the 2nd has a red line through it, and 10th is scrawled underneath in red. And Andy shakes his head. AJ Styles versus James Ty in 2 weeks, and an official-looking red stamp hits the screen by order of Alex Shane. More on this later.
I suppose it's a good business tactic, in it, making you want to go to the week after show, make you want to watch 2 weeks of telly. Good on him.
Yep. But I will tell you how this came about later on.
No. Sorry. No. Not happy with that at all. Like,
Are you also not happy that I knew it was going to happen and bait and switched you last month and didn't tell you?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I did like the edit on the date. And then I've put you are, I am, because that theme will just get stuck in my head. And then I've put by
it
order
is
of
never
Alex
going to
Shane.
be our outro music because it gets you a copyright strike.
Yeah. And then I put by order of Alex Shane. Oh, fuck off. So there we go. That's what I put.
The correct reaction. So, behind Brent Town Hall with some proper wind noise on the mic, Jane Childs and Sweet Soraya. Jane says Nikita may be the golden girl of the FWA, but she is the first lady. She brought Nikita into the FWA, and now she's taken her out of it. She confirms that the £10,000 bounty was her idea, and the guys who tried to do the job were useless. So she went outside the FWA and found a real woman to finish her off. Then, with her first line, Julia undercuts her by saying, "You're not the first lady of British wrestling, I am. Thanks for coming." Why can't you let someone else get some heat for a change?
Yeah.
You don't have to be number one all the time. She makes a lot of generic threats. Keeps saying kick your backside, which in a post-Stone Cold world of wrestling always sounds really lame. And then they shake hands on a job well done, and we're out. Leave the memories alone, because I think this is the last time we ever see Jane Childs.
Oh, but Soraya killed her career off just with that one line.
Yeah.
Railroaded her. Nights again.
I have plenty I could say, but I don't want a transit van outside my front door, so I'm not going to.
Her planet needed her, and Jane Childs had to go.
Yes.
But like the I'm watching this, I'm like, oh great, we're gonna get somewhere, and then obviously she talks about being the first lady of wrestling or FWA, and I immediately look at Soraya and I'm like, you're gonna do something here, aren't you? And then she immediately, and I'm like, why am I not surprised that these Norwich
you can see her loading the pistol below the camera, can't you?
Oh, you could see, like, the next scene, I would not be surprised if Jane Childs is thrown into the back of a van and never seen again at this rate.
Taken out around the back like old Yeller.
For even dating to say that she is the first lady of I thought she said, like, originally I thought she said she's the first lady of FW, and I was like, that's
she did
fine.
yeah she
So,
did.
Why are you then taking, like, no, just hold on a second, I'm the first lady of wrestling? She didn't even say about wrestling. Like,
yes.
Just focus on the pedestrianisation of Norwich roundabouts and just move on with your life.
We come out of an ad break, back to the Void, where John recaps the events leading up to the main event and throws back to Brenttown Hall, where Shane, Vanson and Jordan are in the ring. Shane has the mic and he says the reason Jordan doesn't have a partner is because there's only a handful of people who would step up to fight the show stealer. Ulf Herman is one, but he's still nursing a broken arm in Germany. Jake the Snake is another one, and if you want to find out what happened there, go on frontierwrestling.com. And Steve Corino is the third, but he's at home fiddling with himself in Philadelphia. He says, even if there was someone with enough animosity to fight me, nobody's crazy enough to want to cross the boss, so unless you found an absolute nutcase, it looks like you're on your own. Jordan looks scared, but he's getting ready to fight 2-on-1. He's backed up in the corner with his fists up. But wait, the family's music plays, and here comes Paul Travell with, as his name graphic says, Mr. Pointy, his barbed wire bat. As I recall, Alex and Ralph both complained about me putting with Mr. Pointy on the graphic. Ralph's complaint was at least funny. He did say, on Raw, it doesn't say Triple H with Sister Sledgehammer.
And you just got me thinking of Sister Sledge songs now, haven't you?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I kind of think now as I did then, in no world, even within their respective promotions, are Paul Travell and Triple H on the same level. WWE main eventer and world champion Triple H absolutely shouldn't have a graphic like that, but Travell is a cult hero mid-carder in a British indie, and with this slow burn face turn, a fun character. I don't see anything wrong with adding another 2% onto someone's character like that and maybe giving the fans something else to get behind on the road to the full face turn. Regardless, I was overruled and it never happened again.
Well, listen, all I can see now is all I can think of is Sister Sledge, We Are Family, with the family coming out. To that
or in the other spectrum, in the Pointy Sisters.
Anywho, Trav hits the ring and the heels flee to the floor. Paul takes the mic and asks if he heard right. Did Alex really say there's nobody with enough animosity to fight him and nobody crazy enough to cross the boss? Well, you're damn Skippy, I've got enough animosity to want to fight you, and I think we can all agree that Paul Travell has more than enough crazy for everyone. Unfortunately, Alex isn't especially paying attention. A ringsider has tapped him on the shoulder, and he's now distracted by telling him how he's going to fuck the guy's mum. It's so obvious.
It's when he does the motions.
Yes. Travell says he thinks it's about time that the South City Fritter and the Show Squealer got up close and personal with Mr. Pointy. In the background, here comes Charles Robinson. No, sorry, it's Greg Lambert sprinting down the ramp. He hits the ring. He pleads with Travell not to do the match. The commentators are putting over the logic that Paul is one of the tag champions and Greg can't afford to have him injured before the now confirmed defense against Hampton Court. So Paul shoves Greg down. Hayde jumps in from behind. And we finally have Alex Shane and Hayde Vanson versus Ross Jordan and Paul Travell. It's been a long road to get here. And I'm now going to pause and tell you about some of the other twists in that road.
Just quickly before we do so,
Yes.
right? Because it's just something that was brought up in the first, the opening promo that led to this, right? What is the name of the team of Hayde Vanson and Alex Shane? Because if I heard it correctly, are they calling themselves STD?
Yes.
Yes. It was mentioned in an Alex Shane promo, one of the ones he did in Manchester in front of the green screen. They are Shane's Total Domination, STD.
Okay, I must have misheard that bit because I watched it and I'm like, that's just on the fucking nose there, Alex. But okay.
So, this match was indeed advertised as Jack Xavier and Steve Corino versus Alex Shane and Hayde Vanson. Jack Xavier was on holiday in France because, as Andy Q alluded to when we spoke to him, nobody thought to tell him he was booked. They just assumed he would turn up. And Corino's flight did indeed get cancelled. Before coming up with this Jordan and Travell duo, my recollection is they made 2 attempts to fill the slot with a surprise. I don't remember who the first one was, but I and a source who I'm going to call Deepthroat No.3 for now, think it might have been whichever import was touring with Dixon at the time. Unfortunately, All-Star coverage in 2004 is sparse, and the only results I can find for a Dixon show in June 2004 don't have anybody of note on it. Unless Robbie Brookside was suddenly going to be the fucking surprise partner for no reason.
Savio Vega Pop there for Brooks.
The second was Jake the Snake Roberts. As Mr. Quilden again alluded to, he showed up in no condition to perform. As Mr. Hat, Ben Corrigan, put it when I asked him, we were in the pub over the road and someone came in saying they'd just spotted Jake turn up at the building. Then word got out that Corino wasn't there, or maybe the FWA announced it. Then, in the queue, I was chatting with an FWA helper, Fozzie I think, who said, no, Jake is not here and never was, and don't go around saying that he was. And then another FWA helper a few minutes later was like, yeah, he was here, but he isn't anymore. So Jake was there because he and Alex had heat. There had been a WZW tour across Scotland and Carlisle in February that also had Ty, Aviv, Sloan, Birchill, and our old mate Andy Phil Powers on it. And the story goes, on the first night in Dumfries, Jake had got so sloshed and was getting really abusive to people, even telling Shane how he's going to sodomise his grandmother. So Alex, in front of the whole locker room, walloped him. He had also... Now, I'm not sure if it's before or after this. I think it was before. Corrigan thinks it was after. So I'm likely to go with him because he's more of the authority on this. Alex Also, around this time, had broken the nose of then GPW owner / dreadful wrestler Lee Butler backstage at a GPW show shortly before or not long after this, as I mentioned. So, in the midst of 100 frantic phone calls, they phone Jake and he shows up and asks Andy Q what his favourite colour of water is. John Atkins says, "My memory isn't great, but I do remember being more excited to see Jake than any other import FWA brought in so far. I was always more a WWF fan than an indie fan, but somehow he'd never popped up on any of the Conway / Diction shows I'd attended. We arrived at the building and he was stood out the back, absolutely sozzled. I think he might even try to send Fozzy to Asda to buy him a bottle of whiskey." From the mouth / keyboard of Fozzy Andrew Maddock himself, "I was made to go buy him a bottle of Bells from Asda in Wembley. Then he tried to fight me when I went to give him his change. Then he hugged me and told me I was a good guy. Then some other shit went down and he got sent home. It was a solid interaction." Back to John, who says, "I remember him getting sent home and Alex saying something really lame like, 'Well, that was 200 quid well spent, thanks, Jake.' And I remember being pretty silently annoyed that they paid him anything at all when I'm sure I'd barely have my expenses covered at that point, despite how much time I was investing in the company. And I had one of my first, so there is money here somewhere moments." Jake, for his own part, gave away the surprise by getting spotted having a piss in the alleyway or car park behind the venue before the show.
You would have started a fight with Linsky as well, probably.
Well, yes. So then the stuff that Quilden talked about with Linsky happened, with him being told to get out of Dodge if Jake was on the show before that. And then before that could fully happen, Jake did something stupid, might have got slapped again and was told to fuck off. So about half an hour ago, Hayde jumped Travell from behind and this match started. Lambert absconds to the back with Mr. Pointy as Hayde and Travell scrap. Vanson gets hoofed to the floor, but Travell runs into a Shane big boot. Travell wrongfoots Alex and flip dives out onto Vanson, where he's quickly followed by Shane getting comically clotheslined over the top by Ross Jordan. Shane thinks he's been smart by stepping away as Ross fakes a dive, but Hayden Travell sees actually setting up for an Azai moonsault and part like the Red Sea, so Shane takes all of it. Hayden and Paul then realise they're standing face to face, so Travell pokes Vanson in the eyes and chucks him back in the ring. This opening minute is an excellent piece of work. It's loads of well-coordinated moving parts and logical reasons for things to play out the way they do. Unfortunately, Hayden then takes over with a very silly spinning chop that Paul isn't expecting, and a nice leaping leg lariat to the back of the head before they collide like Tatanka and Bam Bam on simultaneous crossbodies and both tag out. So Shane tries the same stuff he did in the singles match with Jordan, but Ross is able to throw him around with some arm breaks before turning the choke bomb into an X Factor. They do a complex sequence to get into the checkup from the neck up, and Shane scores the first 2 count of the match. Vanson tags in and does his pointless forward roll thing. And it struck me, during this match, what Hayde Vanson makes me think of when he's in the ring. He's like if Venom went to drama school and then became a wrestler. Because he's very fluid with his movements, but he's also just a little bit camp. There's a bit later on where he does like a Loki move and then does a pose.
And I'm pretty sure isn't, if I'm correct in saying, Loki is on this show.
Loki's on this show, yes. Also, in just black pants and tight leather gloves, he looks like a murderer getting dressed in the wrong order. Like he's OCD and he's got to have his gloves on before he does his socks or something.
It's the facial movements as well. It's like they're very much just like, it's like his eyes are popping at the back of his head and he's breathing and then he's doing the things. And he's like, especially when he does like the gun bit, it's like, this is all Loki and you're doing this on a show when Loki's on this. Like,
yeah.
It's too much.
It really is. I am playing the role of a bad guy wrestler. Rather than just being a heel wrestler.
I'm sure I said a couple of episodes ago that he is playing wrestler, so
yeah,
1-0 to me.
Yeah, and hey, all credit to you. I really finally saw it in this match. So it's heat on Jordan, seemingly focusing on his back and torso. I also unfortunately have to give credit to Alex Shane. His hip toss into a backbreaker is quite a nice move. We get the Haid assisted abdominal stretch, and then after they sucker Travell into the ring and fake tag behind the ref's back, Haid puts on the Alex assisted abdominal stretch, and after a whole load of that, we go to the break.
I was going to mention, I don't know if it were on your version as well, but during the break, there was an advert for some like win gold ringside tickets.
Oh, was there?
There was.
I'm watching the remaster.
Yeah, so this is.
So you're watching the old broadcast version.
I am watching the old broadcast version. So
right, okay.
Win gold ringside tickets. I think it's Mo Chatra on the voiceover with all the enthusiasm of a sloth.
For what show?
I think it was the next show, the one with
Hotwired.
Yeah, Hotwired. Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
I think the advert. No, I know there's an
no. It doesn't play in the remaster.
No, okay. So I know there's something for Hotwired, which
yeah,
I was
there is. Yeah,
out, but yeah.
So out the break, Ross gets glimmers of hope, but is still getting battered. The heels do the fake tag assisted abdominal stretch gimmick again, but this time the referee, Tommy Stevens, or Sommy Tevens, as Tony calls him on commentary, catches the Matic, kicks their hands apart so Ross can hip toss his way out and boot Vanson in the face. Shane knocks Travell off the apron, which leads to him physically struggling with the ref for the third time, resulting in a yellow card. Why are you shaking your head, Eddie? It's good refereeing.
What I don't like is the kind of placement of everything. I feel like you've got the ref doing the thing, and then you've got the that part, and then basically I was like, great, we're gonna go into the face kind of fiery comeback, and then no, we just go back to fucking heel heat, and I'm like, this is bad, annoying.
Haid does that insane move he used on Aviv a few weeks ago, flipping Jordan out of Frankensteiner position into a DDT. The commentary calls this the South City Driller.
That move, straight out backyard wrestling, innit?
I think we mentioned before, it's in at least one of the SmackDown video games that came out after this.
Yeah. Such a cool maneuver.
Yeah. It's not the finish here, though, as Vanson follows up with his silly shotgun sniper kick thing and then does the low-key poses and a brainbuster. This is also not the finish. Neither is the fucking insane tilt-a-whirl emerald flosion that should have killed Ross Jordan stone dead. Poor fucker lands right on his head. Instead, it gets a 2 count and Alex tagged in. I screamed when this move happened. It looks so violent. So Ross counters the one night stand into a DDT, finally gets the tag, and it's not as hot as it should be because Jordan drapes his arm over Shane for a 2 count on the way out. Travell, though, tries his best to heat it up because he's running wild at 100 miles an hour, including this elevated stunner on Shane and that lovely spine buster on Haid. Because it's the FWA, though, Alex cuts him off by crotching him on the top turnbuckle when he goes up for the bloodshot splash and takes him to the floor with the Shane Station. Jordan comes back in and hits Haid with a middle rope moonsault into the Nightmare on Helm Street / Eye of the Hurricane. He opts not to cover, though, so Vanson reverses a corner whip, smashes him with a running forearm, and it's kind of like Chuck Taylor's Awful Waffle, but it ends up in a powerbomb instead. Yeah. Jordan kicks out, so Haid hits an Impaler DDT, which commentary also calls the South City Driller, and gets the pin.
They say that he stole it from Zebra Kid, the move.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, Zebra's is the one off the top rope. It's the one they called the Safari Spike.
Yeah, I remember that one because I was like, that's the really cool one that's off the...
Yeah, it was Haid's is the execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't say he stole it off Edge. I think Eddie kind of had a point. Like, I think this starts really well, but the heat is way too long.
Yep.
And there are some very questionable decisions down the stretch, particularly in terms of Haid's big moves. I'm going to go 3, though. It's fine. It could be better. It could be better structured and better paced, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I love Ross Jordan in this match.
Really?
I think he's great. He sells well. There's a great moment where I think he reverses the Alex Shane choke bomb bit, which I thought that was a really good reversal on how he did it.
Yeah, he turns it into an X Factor, which I don't think we've seen anybody else reverse it in that way. It's usually like a Frankensteiner or a DDT, but he does something different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I put it down, I'd say a 3. I thought it was There's bits that are misplaced. It's an enjoyable match. There's just, again, it's giving too much for them, the bad guys, more than anything, and I get it.
I have a suspicion, I have an inkling of a memory that Travell was actually injured at this point.
Okay.
And so he was kept out of the ring as much as possible.
I mean, here's the thing. If you look at it for the match that we were supposed to get compared to the match we ended up getting, you probably had high expectations if you were going to watch Steve Corino and Jack Xavier.
Yeah, how it started versus how it's going hasn't turned out very well.
Well, I mean, Jack Xavier's currently eating a baguette, wondering, my phone's going off, and Steve Carino's back at home in Philly. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's bits that are misplaced as far as the structure of it, but it was. I go with you. I give it a 3 in terms of that.
Yeah,
I think it's a full house of 3s. Yeah, it's quite a long presentation of a match, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think, not including ad breaks, this match starts with at least 20 minutes of the TV show left to go. Yeah. And nothing's cut out during the breaks, as far as I could tell.
No. I think Hayde Vanson in a tag team with Alex Shane works. I think.
Really?
I think. I can see the green shoots to stardom for them. I thought they were excellent together.
Really?
Love to see more of it. Hayde Vanson, I know we spoke earlier about him being an actor playing a wrestler, but I think he's growing on me. I enjoyed him on the last time he were on, and I think he's good here. Alex, once again, putting over the young, Ross Jordan. He's only been on once or twice, and he made him in the space of 2 segments, make him look like, he could be a threat. He's good at putting over talent, I think, Alex.
I would say, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not Hogan-esque from him. He's not, saying that doesn't work for me, brother. I think obviously they're doing the whole domination thing from him and Shane, and I get it because obviously, again, they're supposed to be smarter than everyone else. Jordan definitely, as hard as when he's in the match, the stuff he does, definitely shows out, and he definitely does give him a lot in terms of that. Again, I don't know what it is, but I think Ross Jordan is really good. Although it was interesting, he has the gift. He's got written the gift on his.
Yes, I was going to talk about that in a bit. Yes,
we can discuss about it a bit later. But Little Dragon, Ross Jordan. The last time we saw him, we was part of that Double Dragon team.
But as well, with Paul Travell, he's getting over good with the crowd, isn't it?
As a baby face,
yeah. It's another act which, getting very popular. Maybe not on quite the levels as Simmons, but it's it's getting up there.
Do you want to know something interesting I realised about this match?
Go on.
The oldest person in it is Alex Shane, and he's 24.
Fucking hell. The combined age of this match is less than 100.
It's less than 100, yeah.
Brilliant.
So we go back to John for a simple outro. He doesn't tell us anything about next week, but then we get the AJ Styles promo again, but something's not quite right. The shots of AJ keep turning into shots of Alex Shane, and it says next week Alex Shane returns, and instead of breaking into I Am, the music turns into Shane's theme, and we're told that next week it's Alex Shane versus Jack Xavier, Falls Count Anywhere. Eddie is giving a thumbs down on an audio medium. So, this and the other variant we saw earlier in the episode came about via the double whammy of me getting my weeks mixed up, forgetting that this was already scheduled to air before the AJ match, and TWC changing the night the show aired. My cover for it was to make these. So one was a tease that managing director Alex Shane had used his power to put the AJ match back a week, and then this one to confirm that it will be his match getting aired instead. So the next episode, the one we're about to talk about, was the last episode to air on Thursdays, and we were moved to Fridays, directly opposite Raw.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out. Yeah. Like, today, it seems like a weird decision, but it might have just been that more people were watching the replays than the first run. And it's not like, with the greatest of respect to TWC, it's not like they made a fucking dent in the Barb ratings at any point. And we already know that World of Sport was doing the highest ratings on the show, and they were doing up to 10 times what other shows were doing. So, yeah. And something's got to air opposite Raw, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I wonder who got to see Sky Sports 3 with The Rock, or the Wrestling Channel with The Rock's imitation of Alex James.
One thing you've mentioned there about how World of Sport was getting the kind of high views and stuff like that. So I've looked at the card from that show, Carpe Diem, and there's always a World of Sport rules match on it. Is that one of the reasons why that was on it, because it was getting big ratings in the Wrestling Channel, or was that just on it for some other reason that we don't need to talk about on here?
That's the Steve Gray versus Mal Sanders match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I can only think that was put on as a favour to the Wrestling Channel.
Okay.
I think Sean Herbert, manager of the Wrestling Channel, and a couple of the other staff members were at this show.
Okay.
That Steve Gray versus Mal Sanders match never airs, and I don't know where the footage went. I've also got a Steve Gray story that I don't think I've ever told. So I was in the car park behind the venue. I think I was talking to Hayde. I think I was maybe going to shoot a promo with him. My initial thought it was the one behind the fence that opened the first episode of the TWC show, but that was a different event. I think I was talking to Hayde, and this bloke in a polo shirt, jeans, like 50-something, with a duffel bag over his shoulder, comes up, and he goes, "All right, fellas, how do we get in?" And I went, "The entrance is round the front, mate." And he went, "Oh, all right," and off he went. Second match on the show, that man comes out in just a pair of trunks to wrestle Mal Sanders. I had turned legendary wrestler Steve Gray away from the workers' entrance of a show he was booked on because I didn't recognise him, and he looked nothing like a pro wrestler. Steve Gray not passing the airport test. Sorry, mate. So, moving on, before I embarrass myself any further. Episode 22 airs on September the 2nd, 2004. Last week, a recap of the finish of Simmons versus Burchill. And then later on, Greg Lambert confronts a camera trying to get into the family locker room. He says, "What do you think you're doing? I'm a journalist. I know all about invasion of privacy. If you want an interview, you'll get it from me and not Drew McDonald." He supposes that we all want to know why Drew helped Simmons after Simmons recently turned the family down. And he says the family should have gone after Hampton Court in a holy war to wipe them off the face of the planet. And they were going to do that until Drew reminded them that Simmons' dismissal of the family showed the qualities that made them want him in the first place. He says, when Simmons fought Travell in Morecambe, of course he wanted Travell to win, but he also didn't want Simmons to be hurt because they were still interested in him. That's why he took Travell's chair off him at the finish. He calls Drew attacking Burchill a goodwill gesture, and that means that Hampton Court will now get a tag title shot against the family. But he knows that Simmons will do the right thing, because Drew McDonald has made you see the light. Interview over. For me, this is A1 stuff. This is the FWA equivalent of the Bully Ray promo trying to tie all the Aces and Eights story threads together. With apologies to Greg, this doesn't have the fire and charisma behind it that CM Punk promo had that we watched early on in the series, but it's got all the ongoing story relevance that doesn't. I think this is a strong shout for the best promo we've seen on this series so far.
Yeah.
My one problem with it is I should have asked him to get rid of that fucking chewing gum before we started.
I thought myself, yeah, what a great promo, innit?
Yeah.
Greg Lambert. But the only issue is, he looks like a Weedy Doorman, doesn't he? I'm just on his first night on the job.
You've previously called him an undertaker and an insurance salesman and all kinds of other unflattering things. Now he's a pathetic doorman, is he?
He is, but my God, he's so good at talking, isn't he?
He might be weedy, but he's the doorman who successfully kept that nosy cameraman out of the family locker room.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. No, it's like you say, A1, and they're not just singing "Take on Me" as a cover.
I think the one thing we've kind of all kind of agreed on is the managers within this company, between obviously Dean and Greg, are kind of grade A for promos and stuff like that. And
it's exactly what you want in a manager.
Yeah,
and their use in stories has been really great as well. So yeah,
what they've both been very good at, actually, is to tie up story threads and make sense of, like, if people haven't understood just from watching the booking, like spelling out what's happening, but without it being like pointless exposition. Yeah, I think they both do a really good job.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a good drama, isn't it? You understand the motives of a bad guy.
Yeah.
Don't you? And, you know, Greg's really good at putting that across. Top work, Greg.
Opening titles, Andy does a dance around his living room, and it doesn't get cut off by a virtual bong this time. Welcome to the Atkins dimension. He sets up the Falls Count Anywhere main event, and then he throws to the Morecambe Dome for the opener, which is Styx versus Ross Jordan. My
God, Kieran. This took me back to chapter 16 in the Electric Ballroom of Progress. The Progress retirement match.
Yeah.
Yeah, which also, I wasn't there for the actual match, but I remember being there at chapter 15 where they set this match up, and it was excellent, the build-up to the match.
Do you want to go on the tangent about this? I didn't like the build-up. It felt rushed and unearned.
Yeah.
Because they basically just started doing shoot promos on each other. And it was only like, when were Progress shows were like every 6 weeks at that point, weren't they?
You were, yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. And there was going to be nothing else in between the promos and the match. So it felt like they were doing 6 months of build in 10 minutes. The match is good though. And has one of my favourite ever British wrestling entrances, which is, I'm a sucker for a song and dance entrance, and Ross's entrance to Singh Is King with all the dancers is brilliant.
Yeah, I think Uzi had that same entrance at Wrestling Resurgence. Harry Singh.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like Singh.
Oh, maybe RJ bequeathed it to him in his will when he retired, before he unretired.
But yeah, I remember the video of the entrances being shown, and it was how Progress uploaded it.
I still watch it occasionally. Like every couple of years, I'll remember it, and I'll go, I'm probably going to watch it tonight when we finish doing this. Yeah. So Styx has the no nonsense one where he just walks out to his tune and goes down on one knee in the corner, like with his head on the turnbuckle. And then there's this ridiculous show for RJ Singh. Yeah.
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
I'm trying to remember what Styx's theme song was, but yeah, it was really.
I could sing it, but I'm not going to because we're recording. But I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, Break by 3 Days Grace. I've got it.
There you go.
I immediately check.
Yes, I can never remember what it's called.
Like when I saw this was happening, it was like, oh wow, like, and I just immediately brought back to that Progress match. Styx in an interesting gear. The gear he's wearing, my God.
I want to always just before Kieran goes into the start of the match, let's play the age game.
Oh, I was gonna do that at the end, but you can do it now if you like. Yeah.
How old is Paul Styx Grint?
I know the answer, so this is all for Eddie.
Now or as this match?
In this match, yeah.
Oh God. If Alex Shane is 24, then 22.
Oh,
bang on!
Yes.
Speedboat for Eddie. He is 22 years old. Yeah, this bald man with a goatee is 22.
He looks like Max the bouncer off Phoenix.
He does. I'm sorry.
We
Styx,
talked about this before. Like Alex would look like Paddy if he put on the right outfit.
Yeah. And the fact they wear the suits, if you put them together, you know how in like the original Portsmouth series where they would do like things about like Scream and stuff like that. Like if you did a Max and Paddy version with them two, my God. But he's 22. A rough paper round you've had, mate.
Through a barber's, but the look of it, yeah. And Ross is only 1 year older. In fact, I think he's 6 months older. So he is 23 and Styx is 22.
Wow.
Yeah, this is 10 this is almost exactly 10 years before that retirement match. So Ross now has what Andy called Hayde's racist Japanese panpipe music.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. And for the third appearance out of 3 is billed as the Little Dragon, but is wearing his heel, the Gift gear. So he was doing a heel character in other companies as the Gift. I don't know why he didn't have any Little Dragon tights on him for any of the matches we've watched.
I was going to say it'd be brilliant if he had like a little dragon on one side and then the Gift on the other, and then he could just cover up whichever one.
Like a Velcro panel that he that he moves from side to side depending on what character. Quite that's a way to save money on gear, isn't it?
You're working babyface night. Great Velcro on the Gift.
Or even better, reversible ones. So one way out, then Little Dragon, then you turn them inside out and hide the label, and they're the Gift.
Yeah, because I just kept looking. I was like, the Gift? What are we? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's not strictly relevant to the FWA. I don't think it ever plays the Gift character in the FWA because, I mean, it's getting outside of our remit. But like 2005 is when he does a heel turn and like becomes the Bombay Dream.
Right.
I don't think he was ever the Gift in the FWA. I'm sure I will get a DM telling me otherwise at some point. So, Styx attack. We've wasted a lot of time here. Styx attacks at the bell. Clotheslining Ross into the corner, whipping him across the ring and doing the same in the other. When he tries a third one, though, Jordan gets a boot up and tries his own clothesline, but just bounces off. Third time he tries this, he slides between Styx's legs and cracks it with an enziguri instead. He ends up on Styx's shoulders, but turns it into a spinning arm drag, then sweeps his legs and sends the big fella out to collect his thoughts on the floor. Nick London brings up that these two trained together in the old FWA London school and indeed, outside of kayfabe land, have been best mates ever since. On the floor, Styx gets shoved into a post and then hit with a top rope dropkick when they come back inside. Nick London waffles on about page 3 girls while Jordan stays in control with a frankly poorly applied armbar, sorry Ross, until Styx uses just plain old thumping to get out. They do a nice rope running spot that comes to an end when Jordan nails a sweet twisting crossbody off the middle rope. He then tries one off the top, but Styx catches him and whips him over into a suplex. A lazy cover means Ross can kick out quite easily. London then goes on a rant about pedantic fans naming moves, misuses the word irregardless, which isn't really a proper word, and then Styx goes on a run of power moves to get the heat. Jordan sees a crack in the wall with a sunset flip counter out of a military press and a thrust kick in the corner, but runs into a fabulous black hole slam that I think I put in at least one music video afterwards. This looks so nice. I like how Styx goes from selling, so he's kind of like turning around the circle, like he's got his eyes closed and he's shaking his finger like, no. And as he turns to face the corner that has Ross in it, Ross comes charging out and he catches him perfectly. It's so nice.
There are 2 black hole Sams that I absolutely love and will always praise. And it's the one that Brody Lee does to Grizzly Redwood.
Where it feels like he goes around 4 times, yes.
Yeah. And it's Abyss whenever he's in a match with Spud.
Yes.
The third one is Sticks on Ross Jordan.
This has hit the charts at number 3. Nice.
They just at the slam and everything, it was just perfect.
Yeah. It's tremendous. We go to an ad break. Any interesting adverts in this one, Andy?
Nothing.
Okay. And then when we come back, Styx is running Ross's back into the ring post and Nick London is talking about him ripping Jordan's heart out and eating it in front of the children of Morecambe. Styx dedicates the match to Alex Shane into the camera and London says, "There's nothing wrong with kissing up to the boss. I do it and I got a 5% pay rise last week. I'm now earning an extra 20p an hour, baby."
Bet I never saw that in the brown envelope after this.
Styx does a lot of bear hugging until Jordan elbows his way out and connects with a flying leg lariat and a flying head scissors. Styx, though, manoeuvres him up into position for the Styx shift driver, which is Trent Beretta's crunchy / 100 other names for this move. Oh, so we've got one guy who uses Trent Beretta's move, and we've got one guy who used a Chuck Taylor move on the previous episode. Jordan grabs the rope, flips Styx over the top. Jordan Thunder Liger with a flip off the apron, then a flying impart DDT off the middle rope when we come back inside, but Styx kicks out. Jordan hits a super kick, but misses a top rope splash, allowing Styx to crease him with a full Nelson gut buster. When he tries it again, Jordan turns it into Nightmare on Helm Street, but again, Styx kicks out. Sticks avoids a moonsault and gets a 2 off a power slam, and then is frustrated when Jordan kicks out and he doesn't know what to do next. He settles on putting Jordan on his shoulders and climbing to the top rope, but Ross wriggles out into a sunset flip. Sticks counters it and turns around on the buckles, only to be met with a Frankensteiner that takes him to the mat. Ross goes for Nightmare on Helm Street again, but Sticks fights out and prepares him for the stick shift driver again, but instead of sitting into it, pushes Ross's feet to flip him up into Razor's Edge position and throws him into a splash mountain and a dominant cover for the pin. And as he leaves, Sticks, plural, dedicates his victories to the Alex Shane cause and says, I'm going to get paid well for that one. I saw you nodding when I mentioned that flip into the Razor's Edge, Andy.
Fucking brilliant.
It's great, isn't it? It's really good.
Brilliant, yeah.
I thought this was really good, really enjoyable. I was a 3.5 for me.
One of my notes during it was, I like the fundamentals of this. Both good for two youngsters, but this is it's too long with a quiet crowd. Then again, I'd probably go around the 3-star marker because I thought they worked together, but the crowd didn't help with their quietness.
It's interesting. The crowd came up for the big stuff, but weren't interested in the in-betweens.
Yeah, so
when Ross was getting when Sticks did a big power move, they'd all for it, and then when Ross is doing his comeback stuff, they're up, but they've got no interest in that bear hug, and they're not interested in like the music between the notes, if you like.
Yeah, it's like a WWE crowd in 2025.
I think you're right about it being too long. I've talked before about how the matches were not formatted for TV once they had a TV show. It's a 10-minute match that goes 14.
Yeah.
But like both of you, I still think it's pretty good, especially when you think about their ages, as we talked about. And yeah, I went 3 as well. Oh my God. It's the postcard from Thailand.
Is this in Blackpool? That's what I want to ask.
What are you talking about? I am the one and only in Thailand for 2 weeks now, sings Johnny Storm. We catch up, yes, with Johnny Storm in Thailand, trying to convince us and himself that he's having a great time. He laments that it's been 2 weeks and Alex Shane hasn't called him, but that's okay because he's enjoying the sun, the sea, the ladies, the fellas. More ladies. He says he's having the best time of his life, and then he talks to the XPW briefcase in a goo goo gaga voice before taking it out of frame to go and buy them ice creams. You are watching a man turn chicken shit into chicken soup. His selling of this is what makes it.
I land from the top up because you cannot. This thing could be anywhere.
I think there's 3 or 4 of these. They were all shot in about an hour on the beaches of Morecambe, no more than 10 minutes from the Morecambe Dome. The beaches of Koh Samui. What am I talking about? I don't think they hold up that well at all. There is one that doesn't. I think it's the last one that has something that might be a bit offensive in it, but they are one of the segments that people remember when talking about the show. So what do I know?
Mm.
Like, if I end up talking FWA TV with someone, before we started this show, for sure, like if it comes up that I made the FWA TV, there are some things they will talk about, and one of them is always, Johnny Storm in Thailand.
It's like the new Gazza in China, isn't it? Johnny Storm.
Johnny just gets bored and plays pool all day and plays snooker all day. Can't really do anything.
Well, Alex Shane and his mate bugger off to Hong Kong instead.
I mean, he's charismatic, so he makes it work. I mean, as you said, it's chicken shit and chicken soup, really, if we look at it.
Yeah, it really is.
But it is just very clearly funny when obviously it's like, oh, we're from the top up. We're not seeing any of Thailand. Correct.
Mate, there's one later on where you can see the fucking houses in the background.
I'm just imagining the idea of like him cutting this promo, someone walking past him shouting he's in Thailand and going, "No, you're in fucking Morecambe." Let's see.
Yeah, it's a thing for sure.
But it's good to keep Johnny on telly because obviously he's left the FWA, even though
he has indeed, yeah.
Call.
Yeah, and it was so although the stip for the match was loser leaves the FWA, it was common knowledge, particularly on the UKFF, which is the audience we're playing to here, that he'd gone to work for Conway in Thailand. So back to the Void, and John apologises for anyone who tuned in for AJ Styles versus James Ty. He explains that Alex Shane used his pull to get it pushed back a week, so his Falls Count Anywhere match with Jack Xavier could air instead. And it is indeed back to the Morecambe Dome on June the 26th for Alex Shane versus Jack Xavier, Falls Count Anywhere. Disgusting hard cam again. You will notice that I don't think it got used once in the Styx and Jordan match, and it hardly gets used here at all. It's that one we talked about last month where it's fucking piss yellow and on the wrong settings. It's horrific. Alex is accompanied by Hayde Vanson, but as he gets into the ring, Quilden makes the ruling that because Vanson doesn't have a manager's license, he's not permitted at ringside and must return backstage. They do the old "you've got to the count of 10 or your man forfeits" gimmick, and Alex whispers a secret plan in Hayde's ear as he goes, and we go to the ad break. Jack Xavier is accompanied by a bin full of weapons, which apparently does have a manager's license, so it's allowed to stay at ringside. Jack challenges Alex to come out and fight him on the floor, even throwing him a weapon as an incentive. Meanwhile, Alex wants to fight in the ring, and he takes the mic and says he is a wrestler, this is a wrestling ring. He's not going to make these idiots happy by fighting on the streets of Morecambe the way they do every Saturday night, so Xavier needs to get in the ring or the match is off. And because he's a dumb babyface who wants to fight, Xavier eventually acquiesces, runs into the ring, and gets the shit kicked out of him. He does come back to clothesline Shane to the floor, but Alex quickly scoots back into the ring before Jack can follow up and takes over again. Alex then comes up with a bright idea, which I don't think comes across that well on television. If there's no DQ, he can hold the rope-assisted abdominal stretch as long as he likes. Jack, though, reverses it quite quickly by escaping, and he also escapes an attempt at the check up from the neck up, hits an Enzui-giri, and bins Shane off to the floor again. Alex scrambles Shane's brain with 2 shots from a 35mm film cam that I nicked from the BFI archive when I worked there. And the battle goes, yep. It is not a baking tray. It is not a bin lid. It is a can for holding a reel of film. And they had a bunch of them that they were chucking out because they were dented or had holes in or whatever. And you can't, if there's a hole in that thing, you can't use it to store film. And they were just going to get chucked. So I would take them home and stick them in the hardcore bin. I can't remember when I worked there, though. So they must have been, oh my God, it would have been at least a year. Yeah. So that's been in that bin for a year. Lovely. So they're up on the stage. Alex hits Jack in the nuts, but gets to check up reverse into the Jack liner for our first near fall. They fight into the venue bar where an unsuspecting man with a pint is moved out of the way so Alex can throw Shane into the bar. Alex immediately comes back by shattering a drip tray over Jack Xavier's head. Fucking belts him with it.
Fucking Carlin as well. Poor bastard.
I was just thinking, imagine how that thing must smell. Oh. Stale carling in the bottom of that.
To be honest, lads, I've not reached them depths yet of, drinking the drip tray.
I would hope not. I think we would have to have a word if you had, sir.
Maybe as a dare if there's money on the line.
The next recording is going to be an intervention if we find out anything about Mr. Trojan.
We've got 2 things to talk to HR about, his drinking problem and that horrifically racist accent he came out with earlier. So Alex tries to throw Xavier into or over this low wall, but Jack head flips over it and comes back to run Shane into a metal pole at the end of it and then choke him on it and fishhook him around it.
That flip is perfect. Like, that is just the way he goes on that is just wow. Yeah.
They spill out of the building. As I noticed, the matte box on my camera is proper fucked. Like, it's all wonky. You can see it in the frame. Terrible. Shane gets run into a wall, and then they come back into the auditorium via a different door. You might complain that the live fans couldn't see any of the last minute or so, but I seem to remember, like, we had a little chat earlier on. I remember, like, the flip over the bar being practiced to make sure he could do it. We wanted a section that was exclusive to TV, so even if you had been there and seen the match live, you had to watch the TV show to see the entire match.
I want to also shout the MVP of this kind of moment at the while they're all on the outside. That man with the bow tie and the white shirt, he's doing a great job.
Oh, that guy. I don't know who he is. He looks like a giant darts referee, doesn't he?
He looks like he's one of Shane's security that's just, or someone who's just stumbled in.
No. He looks like the dad of Shane's security.
He's just like, he's keeping peeled back, and I'm like, who is this guy? He just wandered in and they're fighting outside. I need to kind of keep the kids back at this point.
Yeah. One of the things I like about this match is it's Falls Count Anywhere. It should go all over the place.
Yeah, and it does.
Restrained Falls Count Anywhere. No DQ Falls Count Anywhere might be my favourite stip in wrestling. Probably because of the Cactus Jack and Max Payne versus Nasty Boys Street Fight at Spring Stampede 1994.
That's the one where they're slipping all over the floor, aren't they, in that one?
No, I think that is... I think that's the Harlem Heat Nasty Boys one at Uncensored, where there's mustard all over the floor and nobody can stand up.
Yeah.
No, that Cactus and Max versus the Nasties is like 9 minutes of mayhem that goes all over the place. I love it. So yeah, Falls Count Anywhere is probably my favourite stipulation. And I get really annoyed when they don't go anywhere. Oh, the audience can't see. Well, tough shit. Like, if it was real, they would fight everywhere. Because they can. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. Many tangents this show. So what happens? Alex gets run into a metal roller shutter on a concessions counter that's closed, but he comes back to try for a backslide. Xavier reverses it though, and the detail I really like is he kicks out the back of Alex's knees to get him over because of the height difference. He takes too long when they get back up though and gets hip tossed on the floor, which is rapidly becoming his signature bump. Although this might be the easiest of them because the first one was off the stage, the second one was off the bleachers, and this was just like sea level, if you like. Jack gets bashed over the head with a bar tray. Small children are moved out of harm's way. I like the one kid you can hear. He's like, you can hear, get out of the way. So he just goes, okay. And as he gets pulled out of the camera view.
Billy Bradshaw there.
And as this is happening, something loudly collapses on the other side of the building that takes the crowd's attention that we don't get to see. Probably, no idea what that was.
Probably the side of the Morecambe Dome, innit?
You did say it's been knocked down. Yeah, this is where it started. It just took 20 years. Shane pretends to film Xavier with an old video camera as he beats him up, but Jack fires up, takes it off him, and then shatters it against the wall when Alex moves. Shane clotheslines Jack against the wall, and when that doesn't get the win, drags him back up the aisle and slams 2 sections of guardrail shut on his head. I suspect that this was shown from that angle for a reason. Because so the angle is quite low and you can't actually see Xavier's head when the impact happens. So I suspect it means there was no actual contact with head. I cannot confirm. It was 2004 and he was Jack Xavier, so it's entirely possible he just went, yeah, do it. Back in the ring, it's greetings from Finsbury Park for a pair of 2 counts, and then we go off to an ad break. This is where we get, as Eddie mentioned earlier, a bombastic full-screen single-page ad for Hotwired, showing Shane and Corino enlisting Colt Cabana in place of the Sir Not Appearing in this film, Brian Kendrick. With Ralph doing a better American accent than Steve Linsky ever managed on the UWA.
And a great song that I'm pretty sure was just saying, it was just saying Hot Wired, wasn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah, like there is a Hot Wired theme tune. Yes.
You say hot, I say wired. Hot, wired.
Wired.
It lists Morecambe on September the 4th and Broxbourne on September the 5th. So this is a real last-minute plug, as this show only aired on the 2nd, with almost all of its replays happening after that weekend. This is also the first time we get a reference to British Uprising coming up, because Hotwire, they call it the Road to British Uprising. So, out of the break, Shane gets another pair of near falls off the checkup, then goes and fetches a chair out of Jack's bin of goodies. Xavier takes a Masato Tanaka style shot right on top of the head. And I retrospectively hope I caught one of the commentators going, oh shit, when I did the censored version. Shane spends too much time gloating, allowing Jack to prevent a second brain scrambler with a diving ball shot and turns an attempted one-night stand into the Xaviator. He can only drape an arm over as a cover, though, and Shane kicks out. He gets another near fall off a tornado forearm, but Alex blocks a running clothesline and turns it into a choke bomb for his own desperation 2 count. Shane is on his knees, pleading with the ref. Xavier goes for the nipziguri. Shane sees it coming and ducks, meaning beautiful Andy Quillen, as they call him on commentary, takes the kick right in the face.
Oh, it was so beautiful. I love the fact he's got a nickname as well, Beautiful Andy Quillen. He just takes that. It's so nasty.
We've seen him take 2 really great bumps so far, haven't we? Like there's the one where he gets trucked by Xavier again, isn't it? In the Vanson match, the final of the tournament.
Yes.
The Enfield tournament. Yeah. But this happened first.
Yeah, and I mean, there was one thing I think we've mentioned already: the Greco-Roman testicle, the GRTT, as it's called.
Yes. So when Alex hit Jack in the balls on the stage, Nick London calls it a Greco-Roman testicle takedown, and then when Jack does it back to Alex in the ring, Tony tries to turn it back on him. So what did you call that earlier, Nick?
I like that because I like us going back to one thing quickly. I didn't get to say it, but like I do love the fact that when Shane and Vanson are making their entrance in this, there's a kid on the stage just sing on the stage, and I'm like, is he the third man? Just turns around.
The Hulk Hogan of Shane's total domination is an 8-year-old who lives in Morecambe.
You can get it with his ticket money for sure. That's what he gets. Yeah. He's part of the show. But yeah, that the nip security was just so sweet on poor beautiful Andy Quillen.
So the ref is down, and here comes Camp Venom in his tracky bottoms, Hayes Vanson, to hit Jack Xavier with the Impaler DDT. He rolls Alex on top, and Groggy Quilden counts 1, 2. Xavier kicks out, and Alex makes a face like Lord Charles has just had Ray Allen's freezing cold hand put up his bum. Like a ventriloquist dummy taking a proctology exam.
Never expecting that fucking niche reference.
He looks exactly like that doll, though. Like, the eyes go wide. He's also been bleeding a bit from his mouth, so his lips are red as well.
Oh, you silly arse.
Yes. I hope that is the most dated reference I ever make on this show. Eddie has no idea what we're talking about because he is young.
Yeah, the youth of today I am, whereas you 2 old men.
So, Jack hits the nipziguri at the second time of asking. Tony Giles does "Now is the time for you to rise to your feet" again. Can't be a coincidence. This is twice this metal DJ has almost quoted "I will be heard" on commentary. Jack grabs Alex for the rolling release X-Plex, but he sees Vanson for the first time on the stage. He drops Shane and he climbs up to the middle turnbuckle to yell at Hayde, allowing Shane to drag him off, roll him up, and stick his feet on the ropes to get the pin, leaving Jack swearing revenge.
Obviously, they had the match before, which is, well, some people say was like the second best match in FWA history, didn't they?
Some people think it's the best. One person in particular thinks it's the best match in FWA history.
Well, they were wrong. This...
Oh, picked the wrong time to take a mouthful of water there. Fucking hell.
This rematch, it's typical Alex Shane fodder in it.
Yep. It is the walk and brawl to the nth degree, isn't it?
Yeah. He thought, I've not done this for a few months. I've been getting the young lads over, been giving them the shine. Let's go back to the old hits. But wasn't it funny that when they went out the actual building, there wasn't much outside, so they thought, just fuck it, lads, let's go back through the toilet. I did laugh at that.
Nick London does mention on commentary, it's full scale anywhere. If there's a fun fair next door, they could score a pin on a Ferris wheel or whatever. We did look into going and doing part of the match over in the fun fair that is across the way from the dome, and we couldn't do it.
Was Eric Morecambe's statue would have been there, wouldn't it? So
that's a bit of a walk.
The other end.
Yeah, like the amount we did outside the building, you could get away with like with a live crowd sitting there waiting for you to come back. There is no way, with no screens in the building, no live feed, that you could have got away with walking the 3 or 4 minutes up the road to the Eric Morecambe statue, doing a bunch of spots and then coming back again.
Jesus.
What surprised me is if you see a brawl that goes all over the place today, half the crowd will follow it. Nobody follows this.
Yeah.
Nobody goes into the bar. Nobody comes outside. They all sit and wait patiently for these two idiots to come back in through the fire exit.
Still one of my favourite walk and brawls is from the, what was it now? The church in Leeds. This was for title wrestling. It were HT Drake against Redacted with Hawk.
Right.
And they went fighting outside. Few of us went out, when watching, seeing what was going on. I went out, saw what was going on. Our Jeff was inside, and because it was December, he fucking shut the doors, didn't he? Because he was too bloody. It was too cold. So I think they had to not to let him back in.
Well, one of those two should definitely have been left out in the cold, so that's fine.
Certainly so.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we've gone on a tangent again.
Yeah. The final score, 3 out of 5. I enjoy Alex Shane walk and brawls, but
not Jack Xavier.
not Jack Xavier, no.
No.
You're about to enter another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into an intriguing land of walk and brawling. Next stop, the Alex Shane verse. This was as Alex Shane as Alex Shane can be. There is, if you've seen it once, you've seen it again. You've seen it again and again. The only difference here was you could pin them wherever in the venue, and they went outside. I've seen it already before. 3 stars. That's it. I can't say more.
My problem with this match is that it happens at the wrong time in the feud. The last man standing match feels like a feud ender, but this happens afterwards. Also, the tag that never happened would have happened after the last man standing match as well. In an ideal world, the tag comes first, with Vanson pinning Carino via devious means as Shane and Xavier brawl all over the building, which gives you a reason for them doing this next, having Falls Count Anywhere match. Playing out exactly the same with Vanson's interference leading indirectly to Shane winning. Then you do Last Man Standing with the bigger, crazier bumps and Vanson's interference leading directly to Alex winning, sending Xavier off on a quest for revenge against Haid. Regardless of all that, in a bubble, I think this is pretty entertaining, and I'm going to go ever so slightly higher than you at 3.25.
One thing I think I'll say is it just shows, and we mentioned it already, how dumb Jack Xavier is as a babyface, because he's getting ready to, he's got the finish ready to beat Alex Shane, and then he's distracted by jumping Jack's Haid Vance in it on the stage.
Yes.
And then obviously I can see him shouting revenge at them and stuff like he's just shouting revenge. He's not saying anything else like revenge.
Yep.
But it just again showed how dumb your babyface is that he gets distracted by Haid Vanson. Even though he already knows the Haid Vanson, because Haid Vanson's taking him out and he knows the Haid Vanson's around. He's on the stage, mate. He's not right outside at ring. You could just finish it there and then, but no. Dumb.
So a little bit out of focus with green screen keying playing Merry Hell with his shirt. John does the wrap up, imploring us to come back next week for Sweet Soraya in action, the unveiling of the new FWA commissioner, and at long last, James Ty versus AJ Styles. And we get one more play of the AJ Returns promo, and we're out. I think these are 2 pretty good episodes. I think there's a lot of story progression, and all the matches are of a good standard. We've gone 3-3-3 for like almost across the board for everything. If we average out like my 4 stars versus your 2 for the Birchall match, that's a 3 as well.
Yeah.
This is about the standard of average FWA wrestling in 2004, and it's not amazing, but there isn't too much you can complain about either when it comes to the in-ring.
I would say 2 words here. It's all because of one man, Alex and Shane.
You think?
Being back on the telly. He wasn't on the last set of tapings. What we talked about.
No.
A return to form, I do think, with this one.
Okay.
Yeah. It was good to see him. He returned to his walk and brawl action, and he also fought over the young guys, so does the business.
I do think that these two are a bit Alex Shane and even Ross Jordan overload, but such is the consequence of having 2 Shane-free weeks last time out.
Yeah, but
It's like just how it works, unfortunately.
plus as well with Ross Jordan and Styx as well. That's sort of like the first long form match we've seen him in.
Yeah, I think the only other time we've seen him wrestle was that tag match against the Newbury where his partner got accidentally kicked in the bollocks that made Botchamania.
Yeah. But it was nice to see a couple of new ones, and
yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, I no champion on either shows, but that's fine. We've had
Where is Doug? Where's Doug?
I think Doug's
I
on
believe
both
the
of
segment
these
was called
shows.
Where's Williams, and if you'll hold on a second.
Where's Williams? Where's Williams? Where's Williams? Where's Williams? Where's Williams? Where's Williams?
Thank you very much for that. That was a great intro. So on Carpe Diem 2004, Doug is on that show, if I'm correct in saying so, because he takes on Zebra Kid.
Yes, correct.
And I believe he's also on the Morecambe show as well.
He is
And
indeed,
he's
yeah.
in a triple threat with
Yes.
Zebra Kid and someone else. But I can't remember who.
Well, yes, if it was a triple threat, then yes, he would be someone else.
I just can't remember who. But he's on both shows. It's just obviously he's not massively disappeared off the face of the earth like he normally does. But that's
Yes,
great. When I'm going to be send me that. That'll be used quite a lot.
Is that your new ringtone?
Oh yeah, I think you've got no FW World Champion, but we're back in the Shaneverse, and Alex does the Shaneverse does kind of put a lot of attention to it. But I do like we're now getting new characters. Like Aviv's obviously too busy with Ponytail Boy, and now we've got Ross Jordan, and they're bringing up Ross Jordan, and then Styx getting involved. I thought these were 2 decent shows.
Yeah, I think I kind of said it before. I don't know if it would be better, but I think it feels a bit weird that we get blocks of one storyline.
Well, yeah.
Rather than every story getting a couple of minutes on each show.
But I think we've discussed it quite a bit, haven't we? That it's like, what's the word? It's like you're like 2 episodes will definitely focus on B and C storylines, and then 1 will focus on A
and again, as I've said ad nauseum now, it's down to what fits on an episode. Like what has to be shown in what order, and what will fit within my 45 minutes.
Yeah. By the way, just quickly, it was James Ty and Zebra Kid in the triple threat match in Morecambe.
Yes.
So
Can't remember if that match ever airs. I think there is 1 shot in a music video, but I don't know if we get to see that on TV.
Kieran,
Yes.
I would say in that perspective though, you'd rather have an episode focusing, just giving it a bigger spotlight to.
Yeah, I think
than that.
I think my issue might be with how we're consuming it for these shows, because we're watching 2 a month.
Yeah.
Usually, if you do as I do, I watch them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm watching 2 weeks of TV every month, and then I'm not watching any more for another month. Whereas this was designed for week after week viewing.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I'm not sure if it's my built-in bias as the guy that made them, but I do find them slightly compelling, and I find whenever I finish watching the episodes we're going to review, I'm really tempted to press play on the next one.
Yes.
There's something... I'm not taking credit for this. There's something about it that makes me want to keep watching it.
John Atkins.
Perfect, you've nailed it. Yes, he is the star. Especially after that fantastic Where's Williams theme tune. Thank you very much, John.
Oh yes, thank you, John. Great man. I think as well, like because as I said, there's, I mean, the Alex Shane bit, and I can, this is a point to Andy as well about how kind of good they are. That is an overarching story for everything, because that's the company's at the center of that. Especially with the whole like Alex is in charge and stuff. So like when Doug is away in Ring of Honor or Noah or wherever he's away to, this is probably going to be the main focus of these FWA shows. So it's another reason, and it is, these shows are quite compelling. It does make me want to watch the next episode, but I wait and then watch them in a block of 2 back to back so I can enjoy.
Like a Kit Kat or a Twix.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, or should we wrap this up and take it home?
Take it home, brother.
All righty. I will go to you first, as we are currently, as people hearing this, sharing an Airbnb in Oberhaus. What is going on with you and this fake tournament you keep banging on about, and the legal issues surrounding said fake tournament?
We're getting there. I did find quite recently the tweet of the former owner of 5-Star Wrestling saying that that CM Punk had agreed £1 million to take part in the tournament. I think
agreed is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Yeah, I just need to reiterate, we're not going to be like that at all. We're still kind of dealing with some things, and I'm talking to venues at the moment. But right now, are you going
to be £5 wrestling? No £1 million for anybody. It's all a fiver.
$5 wrestling, mate. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Just don't sue me, America. But no,
Eddie, you're not going to book Freight Train, are you? If it's $5 wrestling, my word.
To be fair, he's already had his UK debut. Stephen Pluddard made sure.
Oh, I was there live for that, mate. Terrible.
Yeah. You can currently find me in an Airbnb shared with Kieran as we enjoy WXW Grand Prix. You can find me on Blue Sky at Eddie Sideburns. I will release more details. We're currently in the talks with venues at the moment for my fake wrestling tournament that may or may not happen. You never know. It's like Schrodinger's tournament. Is it alive? Is it dead? And you might get a tiny something from me and Kieran during, or maybe after, about how we are enjoying the time in Germany.
Yeah, let's see how we go. I will chuck in, actually, if you are a listener and you spot us in Oberhausen, if you can identify us by our voices, come and say hello. If you're an former FWA wrestler who happens to be there, come and say hello and give us an interview.
Hi, I'll just say Och Aye The Noo, and then you can wonder whether it's me or Andy Ogden at that point.
And that is a callback. Andy, what's going on Graps and Claps?
So, as ever, you can follow me at Oggy Part 3 on X, formerly Twitter. Follow my podcast at GCP Podcast 1. You can go and listen to the new episode of Reslo, which features Big Daddy's final televised matchup.
Indeed it does.
It does, yes. And you can also listen back to me and Kieran reviewing episode 18 of UWA Wrestling Rampage, featuring a -2.5 star, -3 star matchup of Ian Harrison versus Och Aye The Noo, Drew McDonald. And also, you can go and listen to the new episode of Shite, which will have, which has had JP Houlihan and Matty Edwards on reviewing with me the episode of TNA featuring Jeff Jarrett versus Raven for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So go and listen to that as well, and also listen back to the back catalogues of Shite, Muck, Reslo, Transatlantic Wrestling Challenge, UWA Wrestling Rampage, and all the live reviews that I do. So yeah, go and listen back to them.
Busiest man in wrestling podcasting. You can find everything to do with this show at linktr.ee/FWApod. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and YouTube at FWApod, and Instagram at FWA.pod. As for me personally, I am at Kieran Edits on Blue Sky. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next month for a phenomenal return and a new boss. And there's 2 things you can do about it.
FWA.